Good morning, students. This is your teacher, that the course. We'll be talking about, we'll be discussing questions on water based on how it has been asked over time in WAEC and JAMB past questions. So we'll go into the business strictly. Number one question talks about treated water undergo the following steps except. The answer to this question is precipitation. Precipitation. Treated water doesn't undergo precipitation, but all other processes are part of the process that treated water undergoes for town supply. Number two question says distilled water is different from de-ionized water because, and the answer to this question is option C, that distilled water is condensed steam, while de-ionized water is produced using ion exchange resins which absorb undesired ions. So that is the difference between a distilled water and de-ionized water. A distilled water has to undergo a physical process of heating to steam and recondensing the steam, while the ionized water is water that is made to pass through the ion exchange resin to remove unwanted ion. Let's move on. Number three, water is temporarily hard because it contains what? And the answer will be because it contains option D, calciumhydrogen trioxocarbonate 4. So the rest doesn't cause temporary hardness. Option A and option B cause permanent hardness. Option C is chlorine, doesn't cause any hardness at all. Option D, bicarbonate of calcium, causes temporary hardness. Number 4 question. Temporary hardness of water is removed by the use of the following except, and the answer will be option D. You don't remove hardness by alum. Alum doesn't remove hardness from water. What alum remove from water is that the suspended particles of death. That's coagulation. Remember that. So alum does not remove hardness, but the other remove hardness. Option A remove temporary hardness. Option B, calcium hydroxide remove temporary hardness. Option C removes both permanent and temporary hardness. Number 5. One of these is not a water pollutant. So let's see which one is not a water pollutant, and the answer will be option B. Option B, domestic liquid and solid water. They are not water pollutant. The rest are water pollutant. Remember that crude oil spillage. Option A. Remember that industrial effluent. Option C also pollute water. Option D, pollute water because when biodegradable chemicals enter into the water bodies, decomposers will now decompose them. Biodegradable means they can be decomposed by decomposers. So, and you know what happens when decomposers are present inside water? They are going to use up the oxygen in the water, and then there will be competition. So if you want to understand that more, check my videos on water pollution. So the answer is option B. Option B is the answer. Domestic liquid and solid water is not a water pollutant. Number 6. These are abnormal physical properties of water, except, remember, anomalous property of water. And option A is the one that is not abnormal. The rest are abnormal. Water has high boiling point is abnormal. Contraction of solid water when you heat it is abnormal, because when you heat a substance, it's supposed to expand. According to physics, it's not supposed to contract, but water contracts when you heat it at 4 degrees Celsius. Then option D is also an anomalous behavior. Solid water being less dense than liquid water is abnormalous behavior. So the answer is option A. It's one that is not abnormal there. Number 7 this is quite much. Let's see it. So number 7 says causes of hardness of water include the presence of which of the following: A. Calcium sulphate, B. Magnesium sulphate, 3. Calcium bicarbonate, 4. Magnesium bicarbonate. So we have to pick out of 1, 2, 3, 4 which one causes hardness. And if you understand your chemistry very well, you know that all the 4 compounds listed here causes hardness. 1 and 2 causes temporary hardness. 3 and 4 causes 1 and 2 causes permanent hardness. 3 and 4 causes temporary hardness. So our answer now will be option E. 1, 2, 3 and 4. Our next question is number 8. Detergents are better soap for laundry than the other one. Detergents are better than soap for laundry. And why is that so? Our answer is option C, because when you use soap for hard water, scum will be produced, but detergent does not produce scum. If you want to know the reason, check my video on temporary hardness. Let's move on. Number 9, which of the following equation represent the reaction leading to the removal of permanent hardness from water? And the correct option there is option C. Option C. Option C. No, option C is not the correct option. It's actually option B. Permanent hardness is option B, not option C. Option B. Option B. So it should be option B. Option B, because MgSO4 is what causes permanent hardness. So that option B is the correct equation, and you can see that it is removed using sodium carbonate. That is what is using what we use for removing permanent hardness from water. So that option B is the correct answer. Option A is not correct because it's used for removing temporary hardness. You can see that that compound is actually a temporary hardness causer. So that's, if you boil it, it removes temporary hardness. Option C is not talking about any hardness there. Option D is also temporary hardness because what is there is the cause of temporary hardness, while option E doesn't talk about removal of permanent hardness. So option B is the correct option. Option B is the correct option for this number. Option B. So let's move on. Number 10. The scum form when soap is mixed with hard water could be what? And the answer will be option E. Calcium stearate is that scum that is formed. That's calcium octadecanoate. Number 11, which of the following will not affect the degree of hardness in a sample of temporarily hard water? That's water that contains calcium bicarbonate. When you add washing soda, of course it removes it. When you add soap removes hardness. When you treat with cation exchange resins, it removes the calcium ion. Remember, when you do filtration doesn't remove any hardness because the ion that causes the hardness can still pass through the pores of a filter paper, so it doesn't remove the temporary hardness. But distillation does that, removes temporary hardness, because when you heat water, only the water will evaporate, the ions will not evaporate alongside. So when you are condensing the water, only the pure water will condense. So the answer there is filtration. It doesn't affect the degree of hardness of a temporarily hard water. So let's move on to the next question. The process involved in treatment of water for town supply include which of the following? And you can see that our answer there is filtration. Filtration is part of the process. Filtration is there. Coagulation is there. Chlorination is there for killing germs, but distillation is not part of the process. So our answer now will be 1, 2, and 3. 1, 2, and 3. That is option D. 1, 2, and 3 only. So that's our answer. Number 13. Which of the following is likely to have the highest degree of hardness? Is it carbonated water? No. Is it distilled water? Of course, distilled water contains no calcium ion. Acidified water, it's not acidification that causes hardness, it is the presence of calcium ion. Rainwater, of course, is a form of distilled water, doesn't contain calcium ion. Lime water contains calcium hydroxide. So the calcium there is very plenty, very plenty. So it's going to be very hard because there will be calcium ion inside that water. So our answer there is option E. Lime water contains the highest degree of hardness. Let's see number 14. When excess carbon dioxide is passed into lime water, the turbidity produced will disappear due to the formation of what? Due to the formation of option C, calcium hydrogentrioxocarbonate 4. So that is why the turbidity disappears. That turbidity is actually calcium carbonate. So when you begin to bubble more carbon dioxide, then it will react with the calcium carbonate and form calcium bicarbonate, which is soluble in water. That is why the turbidity appears to actually disappears. Number 15. During water treatment for town supply, water is supplied through the layer of sand bed in order to do what? To filter the water. So our answer there is option B, to filter the water. That's what we use sand bed for filtration, to filter the water. Number 16. The cleaning action of soap in water is not satisfactory. Why? Because soap forms insoluble calcium and magnesium salts, which is option A. Whenever you react soap with hard water, scum is formed. Those scums are insoluble calcium salts or insoluble magnesium salts. So our answer there is option A. Option A. Number 17. Which of the following is used as a water softener? Water softener is washing soda, which is option A. So option A is the answer. Is used as a water softener. Let's see number 18. Pipe-borne water is usually chlorinated. Why do we chlorinate pipe-borne water? To kill harmful bacteria in the water. That's the purpose of chlorination. Number 19. When a sample of water is boiled, it lather more readily with soap, then you can conclude that the sample most likely contains what? Of course, when you boil the water and the water begin to lather readily, it means that water contains temporary hardness. And what causes temporary hardness is calcium hydrogen trioxocarbonate 4, option D. Number 20. Which of the following process will pollute water bodies? And we know that the answer will be option B. Option B, discharge of industrial effluents. Remember our cause of water pollution. I gave you a mnemonics. RICT. The idea is industrial and the agricultural waste. So the answer there is option B. Option B is the one that causes water pollution. Number 21. Which of the following is not suitable for controlling water pollution? That is not suitable. So the answer will be option D. Burning industrial and agricultural waste before discharging them into waterways. Actually, when you burn them and you still put them into waterways, they will still cause water pollution. So option D is not used to control water pollution. Number 22. Hardness of water can be removed by adding, I've already told you, washing soda is what is used for removing hardness of water, and that is option B, by adding sodium trioxocarbonate 4. Number 23. Which of the following bond type is responsible for the high boiling point of water? What makes water to have high boiling point? Of course, is option D. Hydrogen bonding is what makes water to have high boiling point. Remember that any compound that contains hydrogen bonding, we have an unusual high boiling point. That's one of the anomalous behavior of water. 123. Which of the following processes does not take place in domestic water treatment? Of course, option C is the answer. Neutralization doesn't take place in domestic water treatment. What takes place there? There are aeration, coagulation, filtration, sedimentation, then chlorination and pH adjustment. So option C does not appear in the stages of water purification. Number 24, temporary hardness of water is removed by the use of the following except the answer will be option B. You don't remove temporary hardness by alum. Alum is not used for removing hardness. You have learned that over and over again. Alum is only used to cause coagulation. Number 25, water is temporarily hard because it contains option D, contains calcium hydrogentrioxocarbonate 4. Option A and option B causes permanent hardness. Option C doesn't cause hardness at all. Option D causes temporary hardness. Option E is a salt, doesn't cause any hardness. So our answer there is option D. Number 26, natural water collected from rivers and ponds contains oxygen, carbon dioxide and nitrogen because rivers and ponds will contain leaves that have been decaying already. So nitrogen is most likely to be present inside those bodies of water. So our answer is option B, nitrogen. Number 27, a sample of water which has passed through a de-ionizer may still contain organic impurity. The reason is because organic compounds they don't have ions, so they will not be attracted by the ion exchange resin, so they will just pass through like that. Most of the organic impurities. So but every other ions that are present in the water will be removed by ion exchange resin. So temporary hardness, permanent hardness and metal ions will be removed that are unwanted. But because organic impurities does not contain ion, covalent compound, they are organic compounds most times. So organic compound are covalent most times. So they don't contain ions, so they will not be affected too much by ion exchange resin. So even if you pass water through an ion exchange resin, you are sure that there's no ion present anymore that you don't want, but impurities that are organic in nature might still be present. So our answer there is option D, organic impurities. Thank you very much for listening. God bless you abundantly. Amen.